All right, everyone. It's Friday, so it's another Q&A with Alan and Marshall on Marshall Atkinson.
I'm Alan Howe with Easy Way.
And here's another week where we're so busy talking behind the scenes, we're not looking at the clock. So here
I'm
we go,
I'm
right?
telling you what, Marshall. It has been one of those weeks since last Friday. It has been unreal.
Yeah. Well, lots of stuff is happening, and I'm sure we're going to get all into it. So anyway, so we're going to start our show. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're jumping in, as usual, we would really like you to say hello. So drop a comment with your name, where you're watching from, and all that good stuff. And then also, if you would do us a favor and share that you're watching the show, that would be great. We love to get that. That's kind of a fun thing. So anyway, so Alan, you've been traveling. What's going on with you?
I have been traveling a lot this last month. I was in Chicago this week. Um, you know what? There's just lots of opportunities out there and not enough time. But it's been a weird quarter. If we've talked, you know, on there. So we're getting pulled and pushed for a lot of ways, and but it's been, I'm excited about the future and stuff. So I've been, with distributors. There's people. Some of my dealers have lost sales guys. They've went to other competitors on there. They're hiring more people. I just met with a couple new sales guys in Chicago for two distributors, which could be exciting. Let's hope it works out.
That's good.
And you know what? That's what it needs. Chicago is such a huge, huge market. If you had one guy that handled just Chicago, the city, he still couldn't do it all.
Yeah.
So it's, in a way, we have a lot of distributors there. In a way, we don't have enough. Yeah. But, I was at some of our bigger accounts, and they're starting to do very well. There's new industries. Yeah, it's a lot. It's weighing on me, but I'm excited for the future. I got stuff in June already planned out for weeks, and we'll talk about why I'm doing it all that far out. Yeah.
So,
how about you, Marsh? And just so everybody knows, we're going to talk about you. Shirt Lab was in Austin.
It was
a great event. And this started that I was supposed to go down. There were problems with my flight at the airport. I was not going to be able to get. I ended up canceling and missing the whole thing. And it was just
you were missed, pal. You were missed.
Yeah, and, everybody that was there. I got some message of people going, "Man, we missed you," and all that. Tracy and them from Draw the Line Tees really missed them. I hear Davis Slagle killed it.
He was great. Yep.
I heard he dressed for success the whole time. And I had to call one guy back because he seemed like, and only because I know he's online. And I said, Davis is the most down-to-earth guy, but I go, he's in the speaker role, so he's working. So
he brought the heat, that's for sure. And we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that later. But anyway,
it's been a frustrating week and a lot going on with me, and we'll talk. But yeah.
Well, I think sometimes, we get overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed. You get overwhelmed. Everybody gets.
Yeah.
It feels like there's just so much coming at us. It's hard to prioritize. It's hard to make ends. Where do I even start, right? And so what I've always done is just stop and take a deep breath. And what really helps is to write down everything and then prioritize what I call the big domino.
Yep.
What is the thing that's the most important? If you do this, it knocks many of the things out of the way, and that's what we focus on first. And that could be, anything. It could be sales, it could be a phone call, it could be a meeting, it could be, a new hire, whatever. This is the thing that you really have to focus on first, and because it's the thing that's really going to move the needle or help you the most. And even though you've got a lot of things bombarding you, right? This is this one thing. If you knock it out, clears your table a little bit so you can focus on other things. Because what I've found is if you do all the little things, that big thing that doesn't get that's what's weighing on your brain.
Yep.
Right. And that's what causes a lot of the anxiety. And so just push all that stuff over and then focus on the thing that really matters, or maybe it's more than one, the things that really matter.
Right.
Find people, delegate, just like be honest with folks. Hey, I need some more time, or I'll do this by Monday or whatever, and create some space for yourself. And sometimes you just got to eat the shit sandwich and suck it up and do it, right? And I've worked till midnight or later on things, and sometimes you just got to do it, right? So
you know what? In every, in case someone wonders about, some of us are manufacturers on our job. It might look glamorous, you're flying, you're traveling everywhere.
Oh, it's so glamorous.
Glamorous. Isn't airline travel fun now?
It's like you're a rock star.
Oh man. And you know what? I'm in Chicago. I'm home at 9:30 last night. I got home because I was making with appointments till 4, and I didn't want to stay another night, so I drove home. And
So we got some folks watching. Instead of us bitching, let's get this.
Yeah.
So Davis is here. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Slagle.
And you know what? It's not bitching. It's just sometimes you overwhelm stuff, because you know what? After 37 years, you've been doing this a long time. I love the industry. I like my job. So yeah.
Yeah. Hurley's here. Good morning, Chris.
Good Chris, how you doing up in Canada?
Cindy's here. Good morning, Cindy.
Cindy.
And Joe's here. Good seeing Joe and his daughter Bella, who came to the event. So seeing them. Sean's here. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I like the question mark. Thank you. He knows this, Good morning, boys. Sunny here in Southern California. That's great.
And what is the temperature in California and in Arizona now?
I don't know. Let's look. It's going to be 80 something, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not on my phone today. I don't know. So
we were up into mid-70s.
We'll call it 85, right? That's what it's been.
We were up in mid-70s in Michigan last week or something like that. Yeah, it's in the 50s now again. So
yeah. And Charles is here. Good to see you, Charles.
New Mexico. How you doing, Charles? So.
Yeah. All right, you ready for the first topic?
Let's go.
Hey, we're on vacation.
Yep.
So this is our last show until June.
Yeah.
So what's going on with that, Alan? You're doing something, and then I'm reacting to it. So what are you doing?
You know what? I don't know if this is the right thing. I am going to be out of the country for a month. Close to a month and all that. Not quite, but close. And you know what, Marshall? This is one of these things I have planned this for a couple of years now, doing it. And now with everything going, do I need to just cut it short and come? And everybody's saying, when are you going to do it? When you're 90?
Yeah.
I'm going to be in Asia for a month, in the Philippines. You guys know I love it there. I'm going to be there doing a bunch of stuff. And yeah, last time I was there, I did hop on and with the 12-hour time zone. And, there's certain people we can never have co-host again. We won't mention any names, Sean, who is watching. But no, that's not the reason.
He did a really fun job with the big head Alan.
He did. It was great. But I mean, I and everybody that's filled in for Marshall or I when we're not there, we really appreciate it. But it is a big undertaking.
So instead of getting 5 straight weeks of guest hosts, I go, we've been doing this for 3 or 4 years now. I've never taken a week off. We've sometimes because we're traveling or whatever. But
yeah,
you know what? What if we just don't have shows for the month of May, and then you can come back refreshed, and I can get other things done. And I wasn't going to have a show on the 10th of May anyway because I have to go to Flagstaff to get my kid from college. So it's like, let's just have a vacation. So that's what we're doing. So Alan might be relaxing on the beach. I'll still be working in my office, but we're just not going to have a show for the whole month. I know you guys are going to miss this and not know what to do with your time.
Yeah.
You can go back and watch old episodes or something, I guess. But doing.
So what's everybody think? Is this going to kill our podcast, guys? What do you think? Will you come back in a month? Are you going to miss us? Or is it just going to be, we're just killing it and all that? And
so
give us your opinion.
Our next show is going to be Friday, June the 7th, which seems like forever away, but it's only a month. Right?
And Marshall, what show number is this? We are 203, over 203 shows continually.
Yeah.
Who knew? And
right. That's a lot.
And Marshall, I don't know about you, as much as we love doing this, there is sometimes, I mean, if we're just going to be honest, how many times you've been on going, I don't want to do it today. I've got so much going on. And it happens. And yeah, exactly.
Today
I'm in a video meeting.
Just kidding.
With the company, and it's just one of those. It's great meetings. I love our team and stuff we have, but sometimes things just wait on you. And Marshall, he's going, are you coming? I get on there, and of course there's a phone call from within the company afterwards. I'm like, yeah. And I'm sure you can tell by my facial expressions. Marshall knows me or not. I have it on mute, but you can tell by my face it's not a good call. So anyway, so
we got some comments. So Cindy says, high anxiety here. We work very late Wednesday nights. We could go to a funeral on Thursday. While at the funeral, the customer that finished up their order text and need 300 more shirts. I've been there.
Yeah.
Sean says LOL about his.
That's over him co-hosting. Yeah.
So Dean says, I'm heading to Jamaica next week. Hey, congratulations.
Good job.
You guys enjoy your time off as well. Alan's taking the vacation, not me.
Dean, I need you to call me when the show's over, about 1:30, Dean. I got something to discuss with you. So thank you.
Charles says, we'll miss you, but you guys deserve some time off to enjoy it. We will. Joe says, take a break. Don't blame me at all. Thanks. And Cindy says, I will still be here. Great,
guys.
That's awesome.
And you know how you can help us?
He says, we'll
subscribe, like, and do some posts going. They're on a break, but man, go look at the old ones. They're all there.
We're going to have Lyra, my VA, who by the way is in the Philippines.
Yep.
I was talking with her earlier today, by the way.
Yeah.
She's going to be posting our vacation graphic that she's making, by the way.
Yep.
and so when that comes up, that's what's going on. So you can comment or share that or whatever.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you something, and I'm afraid. I am glad Brian Bufka's not on here. So Marshall.
Oh my God. Why?
I bought new equipment last week.
Uh-oh. I don't even know where you're going with this. What is it?
After the airport fiasco where I couldn't go to Shirt Lab, and I've been thinking about it, I went and bought vlogging equipment.
Oh my gosh.
$1,500 worth.
Oh my gosh.
I'm taking it with me. I've learned how to use it some.
Hey, done is better than perfect. Just launch it. Just do it.
No. I'm going to do something. There's some things maybe over there.
Use some people in the Philippines and start your podcast, dude.
Yep. I'm going to go on some food expedition.
What's it going to be called?
I don't know.
Hey, everybody, right now, put in the comments what Alan should name his podcast.
Yeah. I mean, and I just didn't get, where it puts a phone on there. No, I got a Sony EV-Z10 camera with the monster.
Oh, look at that
deal, the Joe Boy one, and shotgun mic from Rode and all that. So I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, congratulations.
So hopefully I can do some stuff, and I'm looking for some stuff maybe industry wise. I'm going to do some tips and tricks, and maybe do some Instagram stuff.
Yeah,
I am trying to see our dealer in the Philippines, and hopefully he has a print shop, and hopefully go to another. It'd be great to take some stuff.
You know that if you do a little work, your whole trip is now a tax write-off, right?
100%. And from Allen Howe Enterprises, I know that company, the president must fly first class going international. Yeah,
of course. You can't. You have to be comfortable. There's no jet lag. We need our comfort.
Well, you all know, and then we're going to do this. Can I write it off medically? Have an interleukin spondylitis? I must have lay down seating.
Yes,
it's a medical thing,
right?
So here it is, people. I'm so glad. We must now. Brian Bufka's not allowed to listen to this, so no. But there it is. Cindy, great comment. What do you think, Marshall? Can we do that?
We could do that. So, what was your favorite episode? How do we know which one to post? We've done.
Here's what I'm going to do. Here's my favorite. Remember, and it's on screen printing, the panel we had with Rock M&R, MHM.
That's one. We need 4 more. We need 4 more. All right. So for podcast, Dean says how to get hurt working with your wood. That's a good one.
No.
That's a good one. That's a good one. There's so many jokes with that. This is how you do it.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Show name, ask Alan Howe to do things.
I know how to do very little. So
yeah, how to do things.
And everybody's making a play on my name.
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
So guys, growing up in Detroit with the last name Howe, if you're a hockey fan, and maybe not, who's the greatest hockey player ever lived? And
Alan Howe. It's not Gordie Howe, it's Alan Howe.
It was Gordie Howe. Do you know how many times growing up it was daily? I mean, are you related to Gordie Howe? Well, yes, that's why we live in the place in Livonia that we do. No.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Ray's here.
Hey, Ray.
Sean says, repost the last time I hosted. Yes.
No, absolutely not. I am vetoing that one right now. That is vetoed. You know what?
Hey, that's 2. That's 2.
Oh, God. Am I on mute? Did I not veto that? Do I have no power? I feel, you know what? Hold on.
Hey, Alan, you have no control over what we post.
I'm going to price increase on Easy Way just to one customer. I think can I make that happen? Who would that be?
All right. Hey, so let's move on to a real subject instead of.
You know what? Cindy had one.
Hold on.
Right there. Great one.
Okay. Post a show from each media, screen printing, embroidery, DTG, maybe y'all's first show. Oh, first show?
No. That was the one that from Facebook Live. I don't think we even have a copy of that one.
Yeah, well, whatever. I'm sure there's the first StreamYard one. I could go back to YouTube and find that one.
You know what? Embroidery, remember we had from Madeira on.
Yeah.
DTG, we had Brian Walker.
Okay.
Great deal.
Hey, so thanks, Cindy. So we'll look at that and we'll make some decisions. If you guys have a recommendation, let me know. That'd be great. So, all right. So next topic is just kind of a recap of last week. So if you missed it, we had our Shirt Lab event in Austin. It was great. We had 80-something people there. It was lots of fun. And the whole topic was automation, not automating production like an auto instead of a manual, but automating tasks. And we had 5 speakers. And let me tell you, there's a bunch of people who said that this was their favorite one of the ones we've done. So this was our 9th one. Can you believe it? Our 9th live event that we've held. And Austin was pretty good. I've never been to Austin before. I was shocked at how, I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't think Austin was as big as it was. So it's a pretty big city. It was, getting around and doing things. And it was a lot of fun. The people who came, they came from all over. All over the U.S. You would think we'd have a lot of Texas people, but the Texas folks were only maybe like 12% of the attendees were from Texas. Everybody else was driving in or on an airplane, so it was really good. And we started it with Justin McKibben. He did a whole thing on how to use VAs to do lead generation, but more so was about how to really, like, part of that was really determining who your customers were and going after that so you could have a process for the VAs to work. And a lot of people like that discussion because who do we want to do business with is a lot of people struggle with that. So that was really kind of an interesting thing. It was a good presentation, and Justin is a really great speaker and really explained it well. And what I thought was really interesting was he set up Davis. So Justin went long, and because Justin really set Davis up, we actually got back on track because Davis didn't have to talk about some of the things that Justin talked about, right? So that was kind of interesting, And so Davis's thing was on sales strategies for online stores, and he walked everyone how to do it. He had some downloads that were really popular. A lot of stuff was automated, so he uses Go High Level. He showed kind of the back end of how he has that set up and what he's doing, and I think that was really inspirational. From our surveys, we always do surveys. His presentation was the one that resonated the most with everybody that was there, right? By a large margin, right? So he's the champ.
One of my clients that went down there, he said the best speakers for him that he brought back and is going to implement stuff right away was the first two, Justin and Davis.
Yeah. And then we had...
I immediately told him I know Davis very well, and he's not that great of a guy. No, I'm kidding.
And then we had Cole Lundstrom with Shirt Agency talk about how to automate order entry, and then using Zapier and some other tools. And then we had Shane Snodgrass with Stoked on Printing talk about automating your inventory management. And then we followed up with Chris Bates with Deloitte, who showed how he helped Allie Benholzer build a KPI tracking system that's automated, so it's not people doing stuff, right? And so that was a lot of fun, just working through that process and making choices and stuff. And then we had a breakout group at the end of the day for an hour where you could just go sit with whatever speaker you liked and ask them questions that maybe you didn't want to have the whole audience hear. And then we had a really awesome dinner right that night. That was one of those 4-hour industry extravaganzas that I think our industry is known for, right? So, it was really good, right? So it was a lot of fun. If you join ShirtLab Tribe in about a week or ish, we'll have the videos posted on our Circle platform. And of course, sponsors and attendees that went, we'll be sending those out to everyone. But it was a really great event. And let me tell you, I think this industry really needs more of this type of content. Alan, I'm a big on education. I don't feel that we do a good enough job in the industry educating people on relevant things. I think some of the education that we do is shallow and a popularity contest. More than it's tactical things that people can use to make their shop better. And I'm not going to name names or anything, but I wish we just had better, right? I wish we just did better. So
I agree. For someone that speaks, and I'm always more in the production side of screen printing. Marshall, you and I are on the same page. Marshall has sat in, and I've let him and Richard Greaves and stuff, and there's some of the guys, they have free reign to critique me, and believe me, they do.
What?
Not fun. Allie Banholzer's been in there, and I try to and for a lack of a way, whenever I'm speaking, whatever company I'm with, I try to make that company invisible.
Yeah.
Well, I am so disappointed when it's this panel of popularity, good old boy, slap on the back, inside jokes that only they get and nobody else does. This isn't entertain me. And I'm glad that the shift, and a majority of the shift is for what you're doing, Marshall, which is needing. It is front end, and it's being profitable. It is automation, and there was never any of that in my career. And this is what's needed. It's great. I don't want us to get away from the technical and the production, whether it's embroidery,
that's needed,
but it's got to be good educational content without the sales pitch and everything like that. And just because you work for a manufacturer, and I'll come out and say, I'm not going to say who, but there is a show that right now manufacturers are not allowed to put in for speakers. Marshall did that, and I guess you stood up for me, used my example, said you're an idiot because if you ever listen to someone like Alan Howe, he's vanilla.
I don't want to go down that road, but
good content.
The last week, the shirt show had an event at M&R, which is all about printing better whites, which is a popular topic for you. And they broke out because I actually know people who went to that and heard from them what it was about. And even though they're really great printers, they learned some things that they didn't know, which is good. And they broke it down into a lot of stuff on the screen room thing about EOM, about tension, about some different things. And they had some really good speakers. Kevin Kauth spoke, and there's just really great.
Alex Mimosa was talking about auto recon.
And it's really sorry to gloss over your boss, but
no, it's cool.
So
you know what? We've been so busy. I haven't even got a chance to talk.
So I heard that was a really good event, and we need stuff like that, right?
Yep.
And you might think, well, gosh, that's kind of a competing thing, but it's not. I'm all for that. I think it's wonderful that they did that. I wish we had picked a different date. That way people could go to both things, right? But it is what it is. But it's interesting that we had people actually fly from Chicago to attend our event too. Right. So, they went to both events.
There were the same events. Didn't hurt attendance on either one of them.
Yeah. So anyway, the more that we have education in this industry, the better. That's how I feel about it. And I think people are hungry for this stuff.
Yep.
And because you don't know what you don't know. And frankly, some of the stuff that we had in Austin was over people's head a little bit. But now they're exposed to the information. Now you have the information. What are you going to do with it? And it's because some of the speakers we had are, frankly, way light years above where some of our audience members are on their business journey, right? But now they kind of see, remember, and so 2 years from now, they'll go, remember that thing we went to? They did it that way, right? And they can make some better decisions because they've been exposed to the information, right? So,
and you know what?
That's a good thing. So.
You know what, Marshall? And we got to say hats off to Dylan and Andy at Shirt Show.
Yeah, it's great.
For M&R for hosting it. And you know what? Yeah, good job, guys. So, yeah. And you know what? Just because there's speakers that, like I said, one of my clients there, his first two, were the first two speakers of Davis and Justin there at Shirlip. Doesn't mean the other ones were better. It's just where he's at in his business. Those are the ones he's going to take away the most right now. Everybody's in a different place.
Yeah. All right. Some comments. So Sydney says she's going to be lonely in her sewing cave.
No, we're going to have some replays. You won't be, Cindy.
Thanks, Cindy. And Ray says Austin is like most Texas cities, spreads for miles. Round Rock down through most of New Braunfels is considered Austin Metro. Yeah. Richard says better late than never. Hello from Michigan.
Hey,
hello, Richard. And Ray says printing better whites. That sounds racist.
It is 100% racist.
All right, next topic. What do we?
Printing blue is pretty easy.
So we can both be right sometimes. And so the reason why I wanted to talk about this today, and I'm not going to share why that I'm talking about it because I don't want to go there, but I think it needs to be said that there's more than one way to do something.
Yep.
There's more than one way to sell. There's more than one way to do lead generation. There's more than one way to separate artwork or create artwork. There's more than one way to do a lot of things. And just because somebody's doing it one way doesn't mean another person has to do it that way.
Right.
There's plenty of ways to do things. Now, in some instances, there's only one way to do something, and if you don't do it, it's wrong, right? And you know, and there's instances that are like that. And I think what we need to really be distinctive about is the difference between the two, and we have to respect other people's ways of thinking, other people's way of doing things. And I think a lot of times, if you haven't tried something, even though you're staunchly thinking this is the right way, and this is where you get into, I've been doing this for 20 years, and this is the way that I do it. This is the way we've always done it. If you're not trying things, to me, you're dying.
Yeah.
Right. And we need to understand things from all viewpoints. And that way we can grow and learn and achieve and have better success. And this is with new consumables. This is with new techniques. This is new ways of doing things. This is with new opinions about things.
Yep.
And to me, the sign of an intelligent person is the ability to change your mind. 100%. And hey, here's how we've always done it. Okay. Is that the right way? Maybe it is. But you know what? If we play with the different way, maybe there's a different way of doing it. It's actually better or more, or makes you more profitable, or saves time, or eliminates a step, or whatever. Right. It doesn't mean that the old way was wrong. It's not meaning that you're wrong for doing it. It's just we've got new information. Let's see if this works. And does it apply to what we're doing with whatever that is?
Yep.
Right. And we can both be right.
100%.
And this can be about anything. It can be about politics, it can be about religion, it can be about how to make money or raise your kids or whatever, right? It doesn't have to just apply to this industry, right? And Al and I have been friends for a long time, and we don't agree on everything, and it's okay. He's still my friend.
No matter how wrong Marshall is on it. And you know what, Marshall? It comes up in stuff. I know we're not going to talk about the thread that spurned this, but I in my end of it, where I live mostly in that reclaim room, there was always this, and there still is this hot contention of a dip tank reclaim over a manual way. And I worked for a company first that I helped that beta test. I remember beta testing some of the first dip tanks and stuff with Easy Way. I ended up going to a company that hated them and tried to explain to me why they're wrong. And when I came back to Easy Way, I talked to them and said, the pendulum goes one way and one way. The goal is not about, are you using a dip tank? Are you reclaiming manual? You know what the goal is? It's called clean, screen, sustainable. Yeah. What works for your shop?
Exactly.
Fact of the matter. Yeah.
To me, and our next topic is about this, but what is the outcome that you want?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you want? What is the outcome you want?
Yep.
How can we get that? Right?
I can show you, numbers why I think dip tanks are way better and sustainable. But if you hate it and it doesn't work well in your shop, it doesn't matter. If you're still making money, being profitable, you win.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, I don't know why, because I'm not a psychologist, that people feel the need, right, to die on the mountain about stuff.
Yeah.
Right? You've got a different way of doing it. That's great. I don't care. right? And that could be about anything. I just don't care. I'm doing it my way. But if your way is better, show me your way, and maybe that's better. I'm happy to experiment with that or whatever about anything, right? I'm happy to learn. I read books. I talk to people. I interview people. I travel all the time. I'm naturally a curious person. I want to know, right? Now, if I don't end up agreeing with you, that doesn't mean that your position is wrong. It just means it doesn't work for me in my situation.
Right.
I'm not insulting anybody by not doing it that way, and it's just how I feel about it, right? And a lot of times I don't even express my feeling. I just do my thing and go about my business, right? So, and I think as an industry, as a country, we have this thing now where we absolutely have to prove somebody wrong, and we have to insult people, and we have to and it's just, I'm right, you're wrong about everything. And it's such a sad way to live to me. Right. And so anyway, I wanted to throw that out there today. I didn't want to get into the topic, but I just wanted to express kind of my view on that, which is, yes, your way is absolutely right for you.
Yep.
Have at it. Okay. That doesn't mean that my way is wrong. Right. So, that's kind of the thing. Right. So, Ray says, you're right. I'm dipping my toe into other thread as we speak. Good luck.
That's Ray stirring the pot without stirring the pot. Way to go, Ray.
Ray says, I thought I was wrong once while I was mistaken. And I bet Misty said that. Right. So, Kisa says, good morning. Hopping on late this morning. Thanks, Kisa.
How you doing?
Good seeing you. By the way, Alan, I went to her shop last week, and she gave me a tour, and I met all of her kids and her dogs, and it was good to see that. I've been talking with Kisa
forever,
about 100 years now, and she's doing great. She's doing great. Her shop is in the Austin area, so I took advantage of that. So
great. And Keisha, thank you for the note. Even though I missed Shirt Lab, it was nice. That, like I said, I heard from some people. Keisha was one that was missed, and I appreciate that.
Right. Ray says, if you cannot prove yourself right without insulting someone, you're not doing it right. Good comment.
Not doing the project right or the insult right? Which one right?
Yeah. How good of an insulter are you? Are you at Don Rickles level or
exactly?
Lisa Lampanelli level? Where are you? Right. So, and if you know who Lisa Lampanelli is, sorry.
I do not know, and I don't think I want.
She is probably the most profane stand-up comedian I think there is.
Oh, wow. Everybody's going to YouTube right now.
She is about insulting everybody, right? So Tracy says, Frank, good email about SS, Tracy at runningthreads.net. I'm sure he will. And the insult, it's a skill, right? All right. Where are we on time? Hey, we got a lot to cover with this one. Focus on the end result, right?
100%.
This is something I think is really missed sometimes, right? And so it's what do we want? Now we're thinking about our business. We're thinking about the types of customers. We're thinking about the types of production that we want. We're thinking about the profit that we want.
Yeah.
We're thinking about how clean that screen should be, whatever, right? What is the end result that we want? And I think a lot of times people get off track on this because, stuff comes in and we're busy doing this.
Yeah.
Right? We're doing this all day and we're not focusing on how we're spending our time. So there's a old adage, I didn't invent it, which is you can always make another dollar, but you can't make another minute, right? So how are we spending our time, right? And time is our most valuable commodity, right? So if we think about the customers we serve or the processes we have or the jobs we're taking for our shop? Is this our most valuable use of our time? So, yeah, we have a customer that wants this. Here's the price they're willing to pay. Can you sell that same slot of time for more money? If the answer is yes, why aren't you doing that?
Yeah.
You know, and if we think about how we're working in our shops, right? If you're doing a lot of low volume stuff, maybe DTF is a good answer for you, right?
Absolutely.
Maybe it's not. I don't know. You have to explore it, and then see if it's right. And then the question is, what DTF? Because as some people know, like Hisa, not all DTF printers are the same, right? There's some that are better than others. And a lot of it has to do with the consumables. A lot of it has to do with, the equipment that we use and the outcome that we want, right? What actually do you want? And if you don't know this stuff, right, and it's okay for starting off, maybe you don't know.
Yeah.
But when you get more education in it, this is when you need to start making some changes for the better, and not like we're just stuck doing whatever we're doing forever. You know, that's that sunk cost fallacy, right? And so if you don't know what sunk cost fallacy is, so here's a easy way of explaining. It's like, let's say that Alan, you and I are going to go on vacation. We're going to the Philippines, right? Because you're fixing to do that, right? And we're about to fly there. And right before we go, we see the weather, and there's going to be a giant typhoon.
Which is possible in the Philippines.
Yeah, it's going to be a giant typhoon, but we know it's coming. We see the radar, right? But we decide to go anyway because we've spent the money, right? And then guess what? Disaster happens. We did it anyway because we spent the money, even though we know better.
Yep.
Right? So that's what happens sometimes in our businesses. We've hired this person, or we're using this equipment, or we bought this, 5-gallon bucket of ink that doesn't work, whatever, but we keep using it because we've already spent the money. Right? And instead of changing it for better, we've already spent the money, so we keep doing it, right? We bought this food, it tastes horrible, but we keep serving it for dinner because we've already bought it. Right?
Yeah.
That's what happens. That's what happens in business. That's what happens in our lives. Okay. When we switch that to focusing on the end result that we want and what's actually going to help us achieve whatever that is, then you're like, well, that doesn't make sense. We're going to change it. That's the difference, right? So, Alan, do you have any examples of that?
Yeah. A bunch on there. With anything on the end result, I'm still going to go, your end result could be good, but is it profitable for you? You've got to look at that. But there are sometimes, Marshall, that, it just drives me nuts that, all right, I'll use this. Here's the example. Everybody knows what Marshall and I do in the industry. And, sometimes when you're on podcast or you've reached the Academy section on there, it's kind of a big deal in the industry. But Marshall, how about when you're outside the industry with your family? Do they even care about shirts?
My family wants nothing to do with this industry.
So I have had the privilege of being
Zero.
I have had the privilege of being with some of the best printers ever. And I have samples from some of them and all that. So my father, when he was alive, and my stepmom, and she still owns it, have what's called a party store up in Michigan. Just a small, convenience store thing. But they also make pizzas and stuff like that. I go in there. They have shirts printed. Nothing spectacular. One color says Idle Spur. I forget what it was. It was not great. Okay, fine. I don't say anything. I'm talking to the manager of them. She goes, yeah, they're nice. She goes, I like it. But when they wash, it falls off. Like, perfect. I finally ask my parents who did it, and they tell me, and I go, so what are you going to do? She goes, well, we've ordered again from them. Why would you do this? Well, what's causing? I go, this is all it. She goes, does that mean they're a bad printer? I go, no, it means they don't know what they're doing. It's a cure problem. It's a flash problem. It could be this. My family knows what I do. My father was proud when I made it in the academy. Do they call me? Any recommendations on a printer? Not at all. Not at all. The end result was to get shirts, but the end result was bad. And then they ordered again. I go, why would you do that? Well, they're local. We want to help them. We want to get them. Maybe they'll get it right this time. Maybe you're spending money. I mean, it just happens. And it's like sometimes that's probably the worst story. And I love my parents. They ended up getting shirts. I hooked them up with a printer. They redid the design and they were great. It was a company called Let Love Rule. They now just broker. They were printing. Ray Markey actually does the job, so on the reorder and stuff. But it just took me a while. I took some of the best shirts I had from Lon Winters and stuff. I go, let me show what's out there, what's available. Bam. They're like, oh my gosh. I said, talk to me.
Right. So we got some good comments here. So Cindy says, whenever I comment on some Facebook groups, I always say, my 2 cents worth.
Yeah.
Ray says, yes, focus on the end result. And there you have functional printing.
100%. And for those of you that don't know.
Also, the first time I flew into the PI was on the heels of a typhoon. It killed the production floor, but the food was great.
Yeah, he's talking about the Philippines. I know Ray's been there. So he flew into Manila, which is a huge city. And typhoons can happen. It's not typhoon season now. And it depends on where it hits. It could just be a lot of rain. Sometimes there's flooding on lower levels and the streets are there. I'm in the back of like this van and you see the water levels like almost up there. And I just know there's a crocodile in there. But it happens. But they're kind of used to it.
I used to live in Florida. I know all about hurricanes. And now I'm in Arizona and it's the Maboobs.
Haboobs?
Haboobs, which is the giant dust storm, the Haboobs.
Yeah, exactly.
Giant dust storm that's like 3 miles high. It looks like something out of Indiana Jones or something. It's just a bunch of dirt in the air. It's crazy, right?
Leave your car out. It's great for the paint, I'm sure.
That's why everything here is brown.
So question, what's the difference between a hurricane and a typhoon? Do you know?
No.
Come from the Pacific and Gulf Coast. Typhoons are from the Atlantic. Typhoons are from the Pacific.
Oh, okay. So if it's the same storm, it's just different area on the planet.
Yep. That's what I was told.
Great. So I guess you can't have a typhoon in the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, but
it is. That's no, not at all. And like if they come towards the States, it's a hurricane, like when it hits Hawaii. But if it goes like the other way, towards the Philippines, Japan, and stuff like that, it's typhoon.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I was really disappointed when they started using guy names for storms. I really liked it when it was just women's names for storms.
Exactly.
It just seems like it's just wrong when Hurricane Fred's coming in. It's just it's
Hurricane Bob.
I just don't like that. I like it when it was, it's the same disaster. It's just,
and there's different levels of them. So, yeah. But that's my deal on the end result is, the end result is bad. Don't do it again.
Right. I have a really good hurricane story. You want to hear it?
Go ahead.
So when I was in college, I was in a fraternity, right? And I'm in my fraternity house, and there's a fraternity house across the street, and the hurricane is here. Here it is, right? And so what do? We have a hurricane party, right? And we know the power is going to go off, so we got generators to make sure we kept our kegs cold and stuff, right?
Absolutely.
And so we're across the street from each other, hurricanes going crazy, and we're both like, it doesn't matter. We're all wearing raincoats and stuff, and we're shooting bottle rockets across from each other during the hurricane. And this was back, in the 80s, and we were doing the Taste Great, Less Filling commercial.
Yeah.
That has actually happened, right? It was a lot of fun, right? So
that happened in a lot of stadiums and things like that during that time frame.
Yeah, it was Miller beer, right?
Yep,
and, Yeah. So,
Boy, they had all the high end people on there too. It was fun.
yeah, good times. Right. So anyway, so focus on the end result. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in this industry about jobs that you have to ship today or whatever. We're not thinking about what's going on next month or 6 weeks from now or 8 weeks from now,
Yep.
especially in sales, especially with the money that we want to make. We tend to like just take anything that kind of bobs along, instead of really going out and hunting jobs that are more profitable or better customers that don't treat you like crap. I got one of my coaching clients has a customer right now that they've been talking about firing this customer for easily a month, but they're still taking work for them. And, so it's just one of these things that's hard to let go sometimes, right? And we have to corral people into how we want to work and focus on that process, right? And that's what's really important.
You have right.
Yeah, so I was a Pi Kappa Phi, right? So that was my fraternity.
And look what he put afterwards.
And I worked for Miller as a campus rep, free beer, bad T-shirts, and neon signs. Exactly.
Life was good back then, huh, Ray? Free beer, bad T-shirts, and neon signs.
Yeah, let me tell you, life was much simpler back in the 80s when you didn't have cell phones and the internet, and all the time-saving tools we have now, right? It's just,
So John Schluter, the owner of our company, now when I worked as a distributor rep for J Products, he told a story like during a sales meeting or something he was with, and he goes, "I got a story on Alan." I'm like, "Oh God, who knows what one?"
Uh-oh.
I'm traveling with him, and this is back before you had these printouts of your customer base and stuff.
With the green and white line.
100%.
Yeah.
So he told me it was like the customer list for my company, which I didn't correct him. It wasn't. But I actually said it. I was looking at something. I set it on the top of the car. And then I got in, forgot about it, drove. It's gone. And forgot about it for like hours and all that. So somebody got a free cut. And actually what it was when Advanced Process Supply went down, I knew somebody there and they gave me the whole customer list for Cleveland, Ohio, and all. It was like gold.
And then you lost it.
Yeah. Left it in the car.
Good job.
When we first came out with the electronic calendars, contact things, like handspring, there was a couple of those I would leave on the hood of my car and take off, and it'd be destroyed. Not good. But back then, all that to say is, it was a simpler time. It was harder compared to now. I was just talking to, like I said, some of my dealers have hired some new sales guys. They actually were printers. They've never been in there. And I got talking to them about, here's how you follow up. They asked because one of them, I'm not going to say who, he was with a company. He actually watches the podcast, and I'm at lunch with him yesterday.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Yeah, I'm not going to say who it is, but he said, you talked on the podcast, Alan, about a sales thing called 7 touches. He goes, can you tell me what that actually is? Since I'm now.
Hey, Alan, what is the 7 touches?
Well, 7 touches all means, and I said, it's a little weird and all that, but I said,
just don't do it in kindergarten class.
Do not do it anywhere. And it's just a matter of picture 7 contacts. When you have a new account, your first call, whether it's a cold call or whatever, I said, what's your goal? He goes, well, to meet him. I go, wrong. Your first goal is to have in there, when you're driving around, all of a sudden you see XYZ screen printing company, and you don't know anything about them. I still do it. I pull in all the time. If I have time in between the new one, it's not on my list. It happens all the time. You stop in. I said, my goal is to leave a card, get my information, and I want their contact information. I want to know everything about them, who's the person to talk to, and that's there. That's the first touch. I go, anything more than that is icing. I said, your second touch is a day later, that day, you're sending an email to that contact. I know I just dropped in without an appointment. I was driving down the road. It's good to meet you, yada, yada. Here's what I do. And a little thing like that. And I said, you want to create these, having them in a template where it's there. I go, touch 2. He said, touch 3 is a couple days later that week, you're sending him an email going, I know you're an apparel printer. Did you know about this? And it's some little product or something like that on there. I go, so you're sending them that, showing some value to you, or you're following up with a phone call. If they respond, you're following up. And I said, the touches are all about this. And usually on a brand new account, we found it's not about 2 or 3. It's usually 7 times of points of contact before they go, he's not just somebody dropping in. I'll never see him again, especially if they don't know you or your company or what you do. And so when I was talking to him, I said, it's easier now for you because those touches are now on your phone. You can stop in and see them. You can send an email from your phone. When you are driving, that windshield time, we used to call it no pay time. I make more calls. And I said, when have I talked to you? He goes, you're always driving. I go, I make more calls when I'm in my car driving because now I'm there. I have a headset. It's coming through the car. I'm focusing. I'm talking. And I'm doing that. I said, you can do an email from your phone anywhere. And that's the 7 touches on it. The end result is getting sales. And I said, it's not about who you are, what your background. And the other thing, Marshall, I told him, I said, people still buy from who they know, like, and trust. And if they don't know you, they're not going to like you, and they certainly don't trust you. And it all works together. There's your Allen House sales tip for the day.
That's good.
For a brand new guy on it.
Focus on the end result here, right? Is get them to know, like, and trust you, and that way, when they're ready to order, you're in.
Yep. And he goes, am I looking? He goes, should I always be closing? And I said, have you watched the movie Glengarry Gil and Ross? He goes, I have seen it before, and and I go, it's not ABC. I go, it's not. Winner gets a car.
Second place because a set of
steak knives. Yeah. Third place, you're fired. Hit the bricks.
Hey, we want the good leads, not these leads. We want the good leads.
You want the good leads, sell more and all that. I said, it's not that. I said, are you in this for the long haul? And, so we got talking about the technology and doing that. And then his boss and I are talking. He goes, how did it go? He goes, a little frustrated. I asked him what he needs, what's this. And I just said, hey, man, I said, he's not answering because he doesn't know what he needs. He's getting water from a fire hydrant right now, from a fire hose. I said, he's not even sure the questions to ask.
Right.
He goes, wow, I didn't even think about that.
Good.
He comes from production. He knows screen printing, but he doesn't know the questions to ask you.
Right.
So I told him what I went through with him and everything like that. So
what sales training or sales books or whatever have you taken, Alan, that you would recommend?
The best sales training I ever had of a formal sales training was a thing called the Sandler system. Yep. And it's not in a book, but the Sandler system brings you through with, I'm not a guy that I will just leave samples a lot. I want them used. I prefer to demo it. Sandler always says, don't leave samples, don't leave literature and stuff. But you are vetting out pretty much your client on there. You're getting to know them. And I forget the whole, it's almost 7 points through there of the sales process. And I just use it now without thinking. But it taught me to, get the objections out of the way. First of all, work on budget. But you're finding out who the person is, what their pain points are, where they are, where the process you have. And one of them is, do you have an upfront contract with them? Mm-hmm. If I come in and I fix this and all that, let's go. If you can do that, awesome. Upfront contract. Right there. The second is on there, what's your budget? What's there? Do you know this? Are you the right person and stuff? And then you're just moving it through. I find out that's why my thing is, don't leave them a ton of stuff. Get information, ask questions. I need to update my reclaim. Really? Let's talk about your shop. Are you manual or automatic? Are you plasticell or water-based? What kind of space do you have? What are your, current needs? How many screens are you reclaiming a day? How many screens should you be reclaiming a day?
Mm-hmm.
Are you saving screens? If you are, how many on there? What are you doing for exposure and stuff? What is your electric? What is your time frame? What is your budget?
Right.
Need
Good.
a small auto reclaim. Okay, that's going to run about 60,000. I can't do that. Okay, no problem. Not that. Let's look at your process and find out. And you do that, and it's not selling. There, you're fixing the problem, and you're ready to go on an upfront contract.
That's great.
So Sandler selling was it. There was a book. It's an older book called Spin Selling. I liked, and I'm still one. I loved. The 5 Conflicts of a Team by Patrick Lincecum. That was still. It's not really a selling book, but it helped.
Yeah. Hey, all right. So Richard says, what problem are we trying to solve?
Yeah. Where are you bleeding at? And Richard always taught me, be a doctor. Where are you bleeding at?
Yeah.
Well, I'm bleeding out. I'm bleeding out on my finger. I think I just need a Band-Aid. No, do you realize you severed an artery out of your femur? No, I didn't know that. You're hemorrhaging money there.
Yeah. Right.
Sometimes you have to bring that pain point out to them. They just don't know.
Right. And Cindy's out of here. Thanks, Cindy, for watching.
Have a great weekend, City. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and Richard, of course, has several Sandler training books.
Yeah.
By the way, Alan, you'll be really happy that during Shirt Lab Austin, Richard got to talk about his favorite book, 2 Second Lean.
Because he got commission on it. We will never believe Richard Greaves is not a commission on that.
So I made a point for him to get the microphone and talk about it because it was a perfect point in the day, right? So
I love the part on this, what we're talking about. Richard sent me a thing from there. One of the guys was talking about KPIs and stuff, and Richard was doing that back then before there were computers and everything. And he sent me an article that he had wrote about that, and it was great. You know what? Because some of the stuff is just, I've always said, it might be old, it might be new, it might just be the thing that's always there, always been there.
Right. Cool.
So, yeah.
All right, folks. Well, hey, we're out of time. So thanks so much for watching. We'll be back on June the 7th.
You know what? Hey, Marshall, one thing, because I'm going to be gone so long, I want us, if we're going to do a recap, let's pull one from Alex Mimosa from Blue Water Easy Way and throw one of him on there if possible.
Okay.
But, man, I think that was a great idea. Thank you, Cindy, for that, and some of the people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm throwing more things just so we cannot have Sean as the co-host as one.
Oh, I think Sean will be the first one.
Oh, thank you so much. A host of friends I have. So.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. You guys take care, and we'll see you in June. Hey, we're still around. Email us, do some stuff. Although Alan is on.
Oh, I will still have email. You have an iPhone, text and FaceTime us for free. If you have WhatsApp, my cell phone number is my WhatsApp number. Let me know what's going on. I'm still there. Remember, the world is big. The world's also small.
Yeah.
My parents are elderly, and we're talking. I said, Mom, I can be home anywhere in the world in 24 hours.
Yep.
So, yeah.
All right, everyone. Take care and have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you later.
Be safe, everyone.